Something just happened to my family that I'd like to share with you, and it fits very perfectly with what I want to discuss. So 2 nights ago, my parents' house was broken into. This was 2 nights ago. My mom and my sister were out. My father was out. Um, and apparently, three illegal aliens, a gang of them, is a gang, broke into my parents' house. They live in a very nice neighborhood. Um, Broke into the house, tore up the place, broke in through the window, tore up the place, dug up the place, tore up the dining room, tore up my dad's office, tore up my parents' room, tore up the guest room, tore up my sister's room, tore up my old room, tore up everything. Took money, took money that was in the drawer. Took a piece of jewelry that my grandfather gave to my mother a while ago. Just tore up the place and left the place all tore up. My mom and my sister were the first to discover it. Um, we have this cat, we have this black cat. His name is Salem, and the cat looked frightened as hell. The cat was just shocked. I mean, he was meowing. It was just crazy. And they came home to find the place trashed. The living room trashed as well. The big crash through the window. They ran out, called the police. The police came in, searched the place. Nobody was there. And just yesterday, we now realized that it was a group of illegals. Illegal aliens. I don't know what group they belong to, MS-13. I don't know what they belong to. But they've been robbing places up and down New York State. My parents, they live in New York State. For those of you who know me personally, you'll know I was born in Canada and lived in the U.S. for a while. My parents are still there. So this is in New York State. But, yeah, the people have been arrested. But, now we don't know if... because this is we don't know if they're going to come back looking for revenge and stuff. Because, these guys seem hardcore. They broke into the place. And we're gun owners, so if these guys have the nuts to do this, who's to say they're going to send one of their hombres over to come kill us, So I'm going to be going down there for a few days. I'm going to take off time from work, going to be down there. I'm ready to kill if I need to kill. I don't care anymore. I'm ready to kill. If anybody comes onto my parents' property who's not welcomed, I'm telling you, I am prepared to kill them. I'm prepared to kill them, and I will suffer the consequences. But this happened in New York. Now, New York State has some problems with liberals who have tried to take guns away from law-abiding people. But get this, it seems like criminals are becoming a lot more bold and brazen. We don't know if these people were armed. Now, who's to say, let's say, for example, my mother was home, or my sister was home, or my father was home, and my father, he's a tough guy, he did military training and stuff, but he's elderly now, My parents are elderly. My sister can't take on three individuals. What if one of them were home? No arms, no nothing. And these people have the audacity. There was a car parked, because there's 3 cars we have? There was a car in the driveway. It's like they didn't care if anyone was home or not. What if they broke into the house and beat the shit out of my sister, or raped her, or raped my mother, or beat up my dad? What would happen? And we had nothing to protect ourselves. Now, I can tell you these people were most likely armed. Now, if we weren't armed, or if they weren't armed, because I wasn't there, I don't live at my parents anymore. If they weren't armed, they'd be dead. They'd be completely dead. And then everybody would say, what a shame it is, another crime happened in this neighborhood. They'd be buried and that's it. But meanwhile, we have Justin the tacky-headed, tar-faced, swift-foot Mac Daddy Trudeau over here trying to take our guns away. Now, I'm telling you, here in this country especially, this is not the time to be taking guns away from innocent people. This is the time to be arming innocent people. And I'll tell you why. Justin the tacky-headed, tar-faced, swift-foot Mac Daddy Trudeau has made Canada an environment where something like this is going to happen here, or worse. Now, if this is a gang of illegals going up and down the country, who's to say they don't go to Canada? We have had millions of illegal aliens coming into Canada just since the Mac Daddy's been in office. They come through Quebec. I think the road is called Roxham Road. So they come through Quebec. And they don't get sent back. In fact, Justin the tacky-headed... So for those of you who are in America, let me explain to you what our government is doing when it comes to illegals. If you come to the country illegally, the RCMP don't throw you out. They don't send a dog after you. They don't shoot you. They don't arrest you. They bring you in, maybe warm up some hot soup for you, make you sleep in some nice bed, and then let you, and depending on, you can say that you're a refugee or something. You can say that you're escaping Trump. You have to make it clear that you're escaping oppression, and they don't care whether or not the oppression is valid or not. If you're saying you're escaping oppression, they don't care if you are a drug. You could say, I'm escaping oppression. Okay, fine, let you go. You're welcome to Canada. Enjoy yourself. That's it. That's it. And now we're living in a time where the Mac Daddy wants to take our guns away. So if these gangs are doing this, what's to say they don't come to Canada, fresh meat, and we are fresh meat, believe me. They would love to come to... These people would probably prefer to come to Canada because, Americans, they shoot first and ask questions later. Canadians, they dither, they dather. So they're going to come here. This was a completely new territory for them. This is like King Leopold II discovering the Congo. They are going to loot this place, and they will kill anyone who gets in their way. But now the government is trying to take our guns away. They're debating it right now. Justin the tacky-headed Mac Daddy Trudeau and the butcher of Toronto, Bill Blair, Bill Blair is a murderer. For those of you who don't know who Bill Blair is, he was once the commissioner, the head of police in Toronto. He is a butcher. He is a murderer. He belongs in jail. He sent his police squad out to kill people who are demonstrating against the globalist G20. He sent them to butcher them. I don't think he killed anyone. He butchered them, though. Beat the blood clot out of people. Old men and women. And this is the guy who's trying to take our guns away now. He's trying to ban so-called military-style rifles. He says, well, what do Canadians need these things for? I can tell you why we need these things. Number one, we're living in an age where people are becoming so bold that they are ready to break into people's houses. They don't care if there's a car in the driveway. They don't care if there's a dog in the house. They are ready to kill anybody who gets in their way. They're ready to just break into a strange house, tear up the place. They might have military assault weapons. You think they're going to try and register those weapons or hand those weapons over? No, they're not going to. So if they're going to have it, and they most certainly do, we need to have it too. That's one reason why we need our guns. Number two, we've got a butcher, almost, I would call him a killer. I would say he's the biggest. He's a murderer. He's got blood on his hands. Bill Blair. We have him responsible for public safety. Now, someone like Bill Blair, a psychopath, a sociopath, in charge of our police, in charge of our safety, somebody who doesn't think twice. You've got people. Now, let me tell you about what happened in Toronto during the G20. I think it was like 8 years ago. People were protesting the G20, rightly so. The G20 is a globalist organization, and it's all the world leaders coming together to decide things against our will. No vote, no nothing. No one's allowed to hear what they're talking about. It's just as bad as Bilderberg, probably even worse than Bilderberg, because these guys actually have power. The Bilderberg organization is just mainly made up of people in business, and they have power too, but these are people who, literally, these are presidents and stuff. They come together, they decide stuff, and people protested that. Now, there are many who say that the people who were rioting, who were burning cars and smashing into banks and stuff like that, they were actually sent by Bill Blair. They were sent by many people. This was organized so that he could send his police out and butcher people in Toronto. And he didn't even butcher the looters. He butchered the people protesting, beat them to a pulp in their own city, bust them up, shoot them up. Bill Blair needs to be in jail. Bill Blair belongs in jail. Bill Blair, and he's the one who's trying to take our guns away. Now, the second reason we need guns, because someone like that is in charge. Someone like that has power. Bill Blair is irrational. Bill Blair is impatient. Bill Blair is wicked. Bill Blair is a sociopath. He is a psychopath. He beats people up first and asks questions later. There are documentaries. I want you guys to look up documentaries on the Toronto G20 protests. There were literally old men with their daughters protesting the G20 peacefully, and the police beat them up, tore out took out their leg out of their socket, locked them up in overcrowded prisons, dehydrated, all sorts of under Bill Blair. Bill Blair is a monster, and he's in charge. Now, if we ever were to upset someone like Bill Blair, who's to say he doesn't send the military after us? Who's to say that somebody as hot-headed as Bill Blair sends the military and does a Tiananmen Square on us? Sending tanks through Yonge Street in Toronto and running people over tanks, killing them. Bill Blair, he's so, you upset Bill Blair, you protest against something he does, and he just slaughters everybody like the Chinese government would. That's another reason why we need guns, to protect ourselves from our government, which I am saying that we are at war with. I have declared war on that. We are at war with this government. They're trying to unarm us, disarm us, and we have no protection against the evils that are coming our way. And now my family has seen it firsthand, and your family will too. Just watch. My parents live in a very peaceful neighborhood. I mean, I never thought that something like this would happen. We don't lock doors. I mean, locking what door? What door we gonna lock? What were we afraid of? The deer out in the yard? I mean, what are we afraid of? The bird, the fox out there? I mean, what locking door? You must be crazy. Now, the house is destroyed. My sister, and I don't get along with my sister a lot, but you know what? She's still my sister. And it was three of them, when three dirty, stinking, illegal aliens invade my sister's property and ruffle through her drawer. This is my young sister here. I don't get along with her a lot of times, but this is my young sister. This is my baby sister. This is my baby sister here. I saw her when she was born. And three illegal aliens just were ruffling through her underwear drawer, and ruffling through her sock drawer, and ruffling through her clothes. Are you crazy? Are you crazy? I'm so mad as hell I could kill. And the government thinks that they should just take our guns away when stuff like this is happening? At least in New York they have a fighting chance. Here we won't. They're going to have guns the size of this room. And what are we going to have? BB guns? We've got a psychopath named Bill Blair who has a lot of power, who butchers people who get in his way. And we don't have guns to protect us in case he decides to unleash the squad on us. There's a petition that is at the top of the comments section. 2 of them. I want you to sign both of them, Patriots. Only a fool wouldn't sign. Only a lazy, dumb, stupid idiot wouldn't sign this petition. I'm not saying you to sign this for me. This is for you. So that your sisters, your daughters, your mothers, your fathers, your grandparents, your children, your nieces and nephews don't go through what my family went through. 3 disgusting individuals breaking into our house and ruffling through my mother's drawers, my sister's drawers. I mean, my mother's clothing, her underwear drawer, my sister's underwear drawer. These three disgusting individuals are going through my mother's clothes and my sister's clothes. I mean, that is what bothers me the most. You know, if you're poor and you come into the house and you take food from the refrigerator, I mean, whatever. I can get food any other day, fine. But don't come into our house and go, and that's what they did. The whole drawers, all the drawers were ruffled through. Don't go to the house and go into my mother's underwear drawer and sock drawer and clothes and my sister's. Don't do that! I'll kill you! I'll kill you! If you do it, I will kill you! I will kill you! I will kill you! I will slit your throat like a Saudi in Saudi Arabia. So anyway, I need you guys to sign this petition. Protect your families. And I'm going to say this one more time. You can have all the gun laws you want on earth. Criminals don't obey gun laws. They have gun laws in Jamaica. They have gun laws in Haiti. They have gun laws in Zimbabwe. They have gun laws in Russia. And you know what happens in those countries? Criminals are the only people who have guns in those countries. And crime is just as bad in those countries, if not worse. If not worse. Even in this country that already has a lot of strict gun laws, Toronto was one of the bloodiest years when it came to guns. Most of them were illegal guns. In fact, all of them were illegal guns. So now we're taking away the legal guns, and the bad guys who get the guns from America and sneak them across, they're the only ones who have the guns now. I ain't gonna live in that type of world. I want to have a fighting chance against these bastards. If you want to have good gun laws, what you want to do is, you register the gun with the gun company, not with the government. I don't want the government knowing if I have a gun unless something happens and the government goes to each individual gun company to figure out who has the gun. Register it with the gun company. Put a tracer in the gun. Do those type of things. Be harsh with criminals. Tell them you go to jail for life for any gun infraction crime. Those type of things. Don't take guns from innocent individuals and don't give them a fighting chance. This is the Arana Nation, who is mad as hell.